This is a Fox News alert. There's considerable talk tonight in this town about what will happen to Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price. President Trump has said he's not happy with the reports about Price's travel on private aircraft tonight. Secretary Price joins us here in studio with his side of the story. I wanted to give you a chance to just say what HHS is doing first about Puerto Rico before we turn to the aircraft situation.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. And our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who are victims of the hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria. But Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands, particular challenges. And HHS has got over 750 people on the ground there. We're doing all that we can, following the president's lead to lean into this. But the challenge is obviously, as you heard from Tom Bossert, is getting the supplies to the people and the people to the supplies or the facilities.
Today you said that you think that you still have the confidence of President Trump. Why do you think that?
Well, we continue to work together, work on the issue of the hurricanes, work on global health security, work on the issue of health reform.
Has he talked to you about this, though?
He's talked about it, and as he has said publicly, he wasn't happy, and he expressed that to me very clearly.
How so?
Just that way. I won't divulge any personal conversations that I've had with the president, but he wasn't happy.
You put a statement out late this afternoon in which you say you apologize for it, and you say you're going to write a check.
Well, I think what the important point here is that all of these trips were official business. All of them were within budget. All of them were approved by the normal processes that every other administration has gone through prior to the trip, not after. But we've heard the concerns. I've heard the concerns. I've heard the criticisms. And in order to make certain that people appreciate that my respect for the taxpayer is as strong as it can be and always has been in my 40-year career, we think it's important to do a number of things. One is to say there will be no private air charters at HHS going forward. A second is to cooperate fully, obviously, with the Inspector General. There's a review going on, and then I called for an internal review within the department itself, and then finally to pay for my portion of those trips. This is unprecedented. Never been done, to our understanding, before by a secretary, in spite of the fact that previous administrations have had secretaries that flew an awful lot.
Sure, and you say in the statement the taxpayers won't pay a dime for my seat on those planes, but you're writing a check for, we understand from your officials, $51,887. The total cost is estimated at more than $400,000 for the 26 flights since May. Is that okay?
Well, as I said, there's an ongoing review being done by the Inspector General, and I think it's important that we wait for that review. All of the trips, as I mentioned, had been approved by the legal department, been approved by the administration department within HHS, been deemed to be appropriate official travel, and so we need to let the Inspector General go ahead and act.
But what were you thinking at those moments? I mean, some of these flights clearly were to places that had commercial air possibilities. There's one flight to Philadelphia that you drive 45 minutes to Dulles. You get on a private flight to fly to Philadelphia for $25,000. I mean, you take Amtrak here, you could be there in an hour and a half for about $100.
Yeah, that particular trip, we had a meeting that morning on the hurricanes that I needed to be at, and then we had a meeting in the afternoon at the White House. And again, these trips were approved through the normal process, so it was deemed appropriate, and that was the necessary way to be able to make my other obligations within the department.
But clearly, the White House and the President have some concerns. I mean, take a listen to some of this reaction over the past couple of days.
I am not happy with it. I will tell you, I am not happy with it.
Said yesterday he's not thrilled, certainly not happy with the actions. We're definitely looking at the issue.
Does Secretary Price expect to keep his job in this administration?
I think the President's addressed this yesterday. We're going through this process. We're going to conduct a full review, and we'll see what happens.
Tom Price says he has your confidence. Is that true, Mr. President?
And he didn't answer that. That was after you'd said you had his confidence. Are you worried?
I work at the pleasure of the President. The President is a remarkable leader. I'm incredibly privileged to serve in his cabinet and work on behalf of the American people. And I look forward to regaining the trust that the American people, some of the American people may have lost in the activities that I took, and to not only regain the trust of the American people, but gain the trust of the administration and the President.
Mr. Secretary, as a Georgia congressman, you touted the fiscal responsibility. You really went after others for wasting money. You kind of led the charge against Nancy Pelosi's, what was called her Air Force back then, and private flights for congressional lawmakers. I guess some people are asking, why didn't you see the problem in the 26 private flights?
Yeah, these were 10 trips and with 26 different legs. But we have a very ambitious agenda, and we were trying our doggonedest to be able to accomplish the mission, to make certain that we did all that we could do to advance the President's agenda. Clearly, that we weren't sensitive to the taxpayer on these instances, which is why I've taken the actions that I've taken today.
And you know, the press obviously circles all of this, and I know the investigation's ongoing, but there's a BuzzFeed story out tonight that you wanted to reopen the department's executive dining room. Is that true?
No, what we did was reopen a dining room for both the political and the career folks within the department on a different floor, so that they had more options to eat lunch and to chat and work during lunch.
So when you say in your statement that you're concerned about the taxpayer dollars, how do you convince people that that's true after they look at what has happened?
Well, clearly the demonstration by paying for my portions of these trips, I think, is a huge demonstration. It's unique. It's never been done before, unprecedented, as I'm told. Second is the suspension of all private air charter travel by me or anybody in the department at this point. Cooperating fully with the review that's being done by the Inspector General, and then doing the kinds of things, the actions and activities that will demonstrate that we can hopefully regain that trust and do our work on behalf of the American people. There are incredible issues at Health and Human Services. Our charge is very, very broad with the CDC, CMS, NIH, FDA, all remarkable institutions over which we have authority and leadership responsibilities. And the men and women at HHS, 80,000 employees literally around the world, are doing phenomenal work, and they're doing their doggonedest to make certain the American people are safe and that we can improve their health.
And yet, as Congress gets ready to deal with a budget before tax reform, you're looking at an 18% cut to HHS budget in the proposed Trump administration budget.
Yeah, and the President clearly has laid out appropriate priorities to reinvigorate our nation's defense. There are real challenges there in the President's budget. Made appropriate reductions in spending throughout HHS in areas that will allow us, we believe, to fulfill the mission of improving the health and safety and well-being of the American people, but do so in a way that allows the President's priorities to be kept.
Mr. Secretary, we appreciate you coming on and answering these questions head on.
Thanks.
Thank you.